Hi, I've been having a look at this condenser dryer on the internet, and the seller states that it short circuits when turned on. And I've managed to put a bid in and got it for £16 locally. Just got to pick it up, and here it is. Slightly different model to listed, as this is a LCD 7W18 condenser dryer. I'll show you around it here. This is the reservoir which the condensed water is pumped up into. Just show inside the drum there. Let's give it a little spin, and that seems to be moving okay, so it's seized. So let me just show you down here. Remove the fluff filter, still got fluff inside it after the last successful operation, and you can see a lot of lint inside here. This is due to lack of maintenance. Should be cleaned out every so often, every month. Wax very clean. Okay, if you have a look down here, this is the condenser unit. Let me just undo these tabs and pop it out. This should be cleaned once a month at least, and as you can see here, it's fairly tidy. It looks quite new actually. That's the condenser unit there. Just have a look inside the condenser housing. Bit of fluff in here. I've seen worse, but on Hoover machines, but this one looks fairly clean inside. So I'll just pop that back inside there temporarily. And shut this door. I'll show you around the back. This material's come away a bit. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. Okay, there's two Torx screws on the back, which once undone will remove the top cover, which I'm going to do here. You can see I've removed the top cover just to have a look inside, and like I said, the seller states that it cuts out when switched on, but if that's the case, it's usually this interference filter that causes that, but I'm going to investigate anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give it a test, see what happens. So I've got my RCD cut out. As you can see there, it smoked. Let me show you again. When I plugged it in, it arced and tripped the RCD protector, say blowing the fuse or tripping the fuse in the house. You see a black mark there around the plug and the RCD. So quite clearly, as listed, there is a problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is disconnect the power, most important, because I'm going to dismantle the unit. So I'm just going to dismantle the unit and put the parts over this side. So first thing I'm going to do is undo the control panel. There's a work loose there, and I'm going to disconnect the wires, but I'm just going to log where they came off from, where they're connected to. So when I put it back together, I'll know where the wires came off or where they were unplugged from. Just document that. Okay, so let me just fast forward this section, because I've done a few of these on Whirlpool and Candy. This is the first Logik machine I'm dismantling, so I'll just fast forward that. You can see there, and there's quite a lot of screws. So I'm just going to remove all the panels that you can see here. So I've stripped it down so I can have a look inside, and to be honest with you, there's usually a lot of lint inside these, but this Logik seems fairly clean. Not sure how long they've had it, but it's fairly clean on the inside. There's usually a lot of lint inside the housing, and there's usually a buildup of lint in here as well, but this one's fairly clean. Okay, so I'm going to remove the heater. This may be one of the causes of it tripping the electric. So I'm going to remove the heater and test it. You can see me just removing it. There's 3 screws on the back. It just lifts off like so. It's fairly tidy in here. I was expecting to see a lot of lint behind here as well, but it's relatively clean. Look inside there, that's the element. So I'll just undo these grommets and pull the plug out. You can see there, that's the heating element. And then I'm going to remove the pump. This pumps the condensed water up to the reservoir, the tank at the top. So I'm just going to pop this out because, like I said, I'm going to give the whole machine a clean. And then try to ascertain what the problem is. Sorry about my knee, but there's just two connectors on here for the motor power and for the float indicator, and then just return and feed hose. That's the reservoir. That's usually full of lint, but this one's not too bad. And that's the pump there, pump assembly. This is the interference filter, which I'm removing here because I'm going to give this a test. Just test the homes on it. That's the model there. Okay, like I said, there's not much lint around this. I was expecting to see a lot, which they usually are on the candies and the hoovers, which I've done. There's a lot of lint down here in the housing, and there's quite a little bit in the back here and around the fan. So I'm just going to give it a clean. So I'm going to just use my jet wash to get rid of all this lint from around the machine. See all the lint from that there. And as you can see, I'm just constantly giving it a blast with me jet wash. There's a lot of lint around this fan. You'll see it all start coming out. Just giving the fan blade a blast, get rid of all the lint. And this is the reservoir for the condensed water. Let's get that blast as well. It's a bit dirty inside there. Okay, so these are the panels which are removed. I'm going to give them a blast as well. So this is the door. Just get rid of all the lint from around that. This is the fan cover. Front panel. Give that a good clean. Get rid of all the lint. The top cover. This is the lint filter, still full of lint from the last possibly successful drying cycle. So I've just tipped all the lint out. I'm just going to give it a blast as well. Get rid of all the lint off this filter. And this is the condenser. So it's fairly clean in a way, but I'm going to give it a blast. Get rid of all the lint from inside that also. And now that that's done, let me just show you here. It's all the parts would have give a clean, and I've got the machine there upside down. I'm going to leave that for a week or so to dry out. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm just going to test the heater. First, I'm going to do a continuity test. Hear the beep there, so if it's a short, it should beep. So if I just test these plugs here for the element and the thermostats, and there's no beep on that, so that's there's no problem there. So I'm just going to test the ohms on the elements here. You see I've got a reading, so I'm pretty satisfied with that there's no issues with this heater. Now I'm going to test the interference filter. You can see I've got 2 ohms. It says +1 on the side of the resistor, so 2 ohms is good. Okay, so I've come back a few days later and the machine's relatively dried out now. When it is dry, just pop this cover back on for the fan. I took it off before, clean inside here. And then I'm just going to test. I'll look around here to show you around the machine. See, I've got the fan and the reservoir nice and clean. And inside here, like I said, these usually build up of lint, but this one was fairly clean. Let me just show you the housing for the fluff filter, nice and clean as well. A little bit on there, which I'll deal with after. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just test this capacitor for the motor, for the drive motor. It's a startup capacitor, and I'm just going to test the ohms on that, make sure it's okay with the voltmeter. And these do hold a lot of volts, so even when the machine switched off, so it's best to drain it off before you start testing, or short the terminals. Okay, that seems to be working fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop this fan back on because I've tested it and it seems to be working fine. Just took it back through this conduit, and then, like I said, there's just 3 screws which hold it in place. Yeah, you can see me just fitting the screws, 3 screws back in. And just pop the grommet back in also. Just come around to this section, it plugs into this socket here, which you can see me just trying to connect. There's 2 sockets plug into this one socket here. They just clip in like so, and then the whole assembly just clips into its housing here. You heard that clicking. Okay, so now I'm going to pop the pump back on. I've checked that also, seems to be working fine, ohms wise. So I'm just going to pop that back in. And you heard that click in there. So it's just a matter of connecting up the hoses at the back, the return and feed hoses, and you can see me just putting the power connections back in. And there's also a fill level indicator, and that just clips in like so. Okay, so now I've just got to put this fan cover back on, as you can see here, and I'll speed this section up because there's about 15 screws in the back here, and then you can see me just tighten up the last screw here. And obviously I'm not going to jet wash this. It's the control panel, it's got sensitive electrics on it, so what I'm going to do is just give it a clean and just get rid of the dust by a brush. See, I've given it a clean there. So I'm just going to pop that back on temporarily. And if you remember before, I documented how the wires connected. You can see on my phone there. So I'm going to use this as a guide to reconnect the wires for this control panel to speed this section up. And that's pretty much done now. So I'll just temporarily prop this back on here. It should hold on there temporarily. So I'm going to put the front panel on first and put all the screws in. And once that's done, I'm going to pop one of the side panels on. You can see there, the slots in against the front panel. And there's some screws at the back and underneath. You can see me just putting screws in the back. There's about 5. Just gonna do the other side now, the other panel. Got them all nice and clean. Speed this section up. Like I said, I speed up certain sections of video just to make it shorter. And I put the door back on, and the vent for the fan, and the filter, and the condenser cover. And that's the condenser going back in there. Okay, let's give you a look at it now, see what it looks like. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've tested all the devices, they're working fine. This wire here from the plug goes to here, which connects to the filter. I've disconnected it because I'm going to test them. because I can't find a fault with any of the devices on the machine. So I'm going to check the wire, and you can see me just doing a Holmes test, and I've got a reading when I've connected the live to the earth. I've got a reading in Holmes, which I shouldn't have. So there's obviously a problem somewhere in the wire. On a negative, there's nothing, but on a positive, it shows a reading. If I just show you here, I've just noticed there's burn marks here on the plug where it's shorted as it goes into the plug, and it's a fixed plug. So I'm assuming someone's trying to remove the machine and not plug the machine out, and it's just snagged. You can see all the burn marks inside there where it's constantly arcing. When you plug it in, it does not blow the fuse. So we've got a problem inside here. So what I'm going to do is just cut it off here, and then I'm just going to see if I can have a look inside the. Just try and cut this cord apart without cutting my fingers. Just trying to strip it down so I can see exactly what's going on inside here. This is where the problem is, as the cord goes into the plug. Let me just get a close up there. You see the black marks there where it's been arcing. Strip it down a little bit more so I can show you. It's a molded plug, so you can see the black marks there. So this is where the wires were touching inside. I think the live was touched against the earth and arcing. That's why I kept tripping the fuse as you plug it in. Okay, let me just get rid of this lot, because now that I've ascertained what the problem is, I'm just going to put a standard 13 fuse plug. Fit that on, as you can see there. Speed that section up, and then I'm just going to reconnect the wires for the filter. You see there, I've connected the wires back up. Now that that's done, I'm just going to give it a test. Got my RCD chip. I'll plug that in, see what happens. And as you can see here, it hasn't tripped this time. So that's what the problem was. It was with the old plug's cord. And now we've got power, as you can see there. Let me just start it up, see how that works. Let's put this extension on the floor first. And I'll just press start, see what happens. And as you can probably hear, the machine is running. So what I'm going to do is just pop the top cover back on. But the problem was with the plug. Somehow it got damaged right at the as the wire goes into the molded plug. Okay, let me just show you here. It's got a light inside. You can see the housing there, nice and clean, for the lint filter. Clean the filter as well, obviously. Let me just show you down here. Let me just pop this condenser unit out. Just show you around that as well. You see I've got that nice and clean also. You're supposed to clean this once a month. And let me just show you inside here. I have to get a bit of light. See, this is the housing. There's a lot of lint inside here. Well, it's nice and clean now. So I'll just pop this back in. What I'm going to do is give it a test. I'll just pop this wet towel in. Press start. Let that run. To show you around the finished machine. See, I've got it nice and clean here. Okay, I'll pop back later. The cycle's finished. And the towel is nice and dry. And show the lint filter. You see it's collected a bit of lint here off the towel. That seems to be working fine. And then here is where the water, the condensed water collects when it's been pumped up. Just tip that out. You see the light at the top there. Okay, that pretty much concludes. Thanks for watching once again, and please subscribe.